Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Kister, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bylines. Today, I am joined by a multimedia editor for the Daily Collegian, Daniel Perez.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Just chilling. Yeah, so cover a bunch of things here. Obviously, cover how you got to be a multi-editor for the Daily Collegian. Doing research, I found that you're a big film guy.
I am.
So kind of talk about that. How did you get into film?
Oh God. So I was like, I feel like with everyone, like just on the fence with like what you want to do as a major. So I love film. I mean, I feel like everyone just has a film that they love.
Sure.
My dad obviously like got me into like filming, and just like watching films, not like actually filming. He has like no idea like actually like how to film, but like he always says like he has like pretty good critiques.
Yeah.
On film. And I always was like a writer. I always like say this memory, but like when I was like in 5th grade, I acted like I was an author for like my own book.
Nice.
So I got my dad to print out some copies of this. Do you remember Disney Infinity, the game?
I don't think I do, unfortunately. It sounds cool,
though. Disney made a game, a rip-off game from Skylanders, if you know that.
Okay,
game.
yeah. Yep.
And I wrote like a story for it, and
Nice.
I passed around like 5 copies, and I signed it, acting like I was the author for this book.
Nice.
So writing for me has just always been something I really like to do, just in my free time. So I was like, hey, I could probably make that something into like a film. And,
Sure.
Like, I mean, I know you're probably gonna ask me like about like multi too, but I think with that it's just like telling people stories and just like feel like seeing like how people's lives are and like seeing like that aspect.
Sure.
I just love seeing like different angles, different stories, and I think film is just like able like that outlet to like tell my own story, and also like in the creative headspace of like what about this character's story, or like this fiction, like about like what they do and so on and so forth. I know that's like a long-winded answer to your question, but like
that's what's all about.
That's like kind of like how I got into it, and like when I realized more about the equipment side, I'm like, oh God, I'm like, it's a lot more than just writing and like
Sure.
you just trying to like get to it. It's like lighting and like the camera or whatever.
Yeah.
But
it takes a village. It really does.
Yeah. It takes a lot of time to like really like hone it down. I mean, obviously I'm not like honed it down any like there's still a lot more I have to do, but I do like it. And yeah, I have a few films out there.
Yeah.
Looking to do a few more.
Yeah, so obviously, we talked about before we went live here. You have 2 versions out now of The Devil Within Us, correct?
Demon Inside Us.
Yes. Sorry. Wow.
No, you're good.
But yeah, so like, I know the first one took over 10 months, and I think the other one was a little shorter, maybe around 6 months, if not mistaken.
Well, the writing process was a bit, but like the whole filming was actually like 1 month for the hour long. There's a shorter one that's like a 13-minute thing. That's actually the sequel to it. So I did the first one, that was the 13-minute one, and then we did a prequel to that. That was an hour long. By no means I thought it was gonna be like a blockbuster hit, but I was just like, I wanted to get the feeling of like kind of how it is to be like on set. Again, by no means there was not close to a set, because I was on with my phone, and we had just like my robust mics. So it was like not anywhere close to like what I'm doing now, but just like the idea of like scheduling and like dealing with people is something where I'm still getting used to, because it's just like, obviously I could be free one day or like a whole weekend I could just like make available, but it just depends on like the other 6 people if they are good, and it's just a lot of moving parts where you just like, it doesn't just rely on you. You gotta work with other people, and you gotta be really good at working with other people, because if if people don't want to like work with you, if you're just like dictating or like commanding them, you want them to like be a collaborator with it. But yeah, you just have to like make that like, have like a friendly environment, and just like have everyone feel like as if it's like their own project, and like if they wrote it themselves.
Yeah, so like I would love for you to expand on that a little bit. Like obviously you casted people in your films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was thinking personally, I'm sure people listening are wondering too, how do you cast members like that? I mean, especially I think at Penn State that probably helps a little bit.
No.
But no? Okay.
Not to me like jump in on that.
No,
but
no. Hey.
It's very, very tough. I mean, I had one person who like reached out to me about how to like get people, because it's just like you think it's like super easy to like get people. It's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, more people are more accepting to take on a film than others. Obviously,
Sure.
if you're going for like first year or second year people, they definitely want the just like the exposure and just like the reps. But third and fourth year people, they like drown themselves with work. Like I have another short film, which is the second part to Lost in a Daydream, which kind of came out recently. But that is just like getting people to like be available for that. It's very tough because it's
Sure.
like they have projects of their own. They doing other stuff, and you mentioned it. It's college, so like I'm not paying them.
True.
So,
True.
I can't bribe them to be a part of it. It's really
Right.
just like out of their own free will to be a part of it, which I always appreciate it, because it's just like it takes a while, but like the end project is amazing.
Yeah.
But just again, getting them to say yes is not even like saying like, okay, I got you. Because they could always be like, oh, something came up. I'm actually busy, or like I actually reread your script and I don't want to be a part of it, or something. Something always comes up, but like I feel like I've almost like dealt with like any possible outcome there is, where I'm just like, yeah, okay, I get it. Like something will always happen.
I mean, like to your point, like it's not something that like you're making yourself available for a couple of days. Like it's a long-term commitment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to kind of answer your question, my process is just going through Instagram. I found actually that to be the most successful way, because there's this page called We Are Casting, and I posted like 3 times maybe for cast, and never got a response.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it might just been like the pitch that I put on there, but I found out just like the people who are following that account, or like Thespians is another big like acting account, or I Know You from Theater is another huge thing, where like just going to people's shows, like just I kind of found like some people through like I don't think it was a Thespian show, but it was like one show that I had to like go to for like my acting class, which is like acting 100 or something. And like that's kind of how like I found people, because they have like the little like, I don't know what it's called, but like the little pamphlet.
Okay.
Where like you could see the Instagrams,
Right.
and then you like find people there, you add them, and then you kind of just like slide into the DMs and be like, hey, this is so and so. I have a film. Do you want to be a part of it?
Yeah.
It also helps if you have like a really good script. The Daydream one. I mean, I got like a lot of people that I didn't think I was gonna get, because it was like a pretty good script. Like one person actually said that they wanted to be like part of like, they didn't want to be like an actor for it, and then they changed their mind to be a part of the actor. Sam Rowe, she was the second main character in it. And she kind of like changed because of like the script, and she wanted to like try her like acting ability, and she did awesome. But that's the long and hard process to just like, you just gotta slide into the DMs.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too I want to ask Ashley is, of course, getting them is one thing, but I feel like also keeping them engaged and excited about the project throughout the project is another thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you kind of deal with that, and how are you well, let me put it this way. How did you get through that, and then do you try and make yourself flexible to like what people want, or how do you work with that?
Yes and no. I try and be flexible, and like, I guess to almost answer your question, to like any ideas that people might have.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on a year-long right now called The Frat that has not been out yet, but it's gonna be out like around April.
Okay.
There's gonna be like a huge showing with like every other film in the class, for 49. But that is just like, I kind of found out, yes, you could be accepting to ideas, but also you have to be like knowing when you have to like step into that directing role and just be like, I have the final say. We gotta like move, because it's like, I mean, I have many ideas like that I could change with The Frat, and I can't because it's like I'll drive myself crazy.
Sure.
And for time's sake, you just gotta like roll with the punches and just like be confident in like what you have. And then you could always like be hard on yourself after, being like, oh, you see the final product and you're like, oh yeah, I could have done this, I could have done that. But that's just like something for the next film, being like, yeah, I could have done this. I'll do it next time. You just need the reps basically, because the frat won't be, like a major success, but like it's definitely gonna be a good thing to look back on.
Yeah.
And it's definitely an improvement from like what you were mentioning, like the demon inside us.
Yeah.
A huge improvement. And it's just like that's the most important part. It's just if you're improving after each film, and that's what I try and do. Just like take each part with each film and just see what I can improve on.
Yeah, for sure. And I think film is just one of the things that you do. Obviously, you've done acting and filming.
No, acting is a stretch. Acting.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm the best actor by any means.
Sure. I mean, you have the experience, but then also, you do work for the Collegian, and you start off, as a sports reporter, and kind of worked your way to sports reporter, sports editor, now to multi-editor. Kyle, walk through that journey.
So I feel like as any sports writing person, I want to write for football. But for me, it was more just like working on football. Looking back on that now, it was just like, yeah, at the time I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna write for football. But that was just because I was on the writing beat. And again, I was on the writing beat because I mentioned previously I loved writing.
Right.
I still love writing. That hasn't really gone away. So sometimes when I'm like burnt out, like right now, it's hard to really like try and write. Especially when you're dealing with like 4 other films where like I'm going away to Mexico City in like 4 days and I'm working on like 2 films there. And it's just like, I want to write, but it's also just like, there's like this one, I keep like branching off, but like there's like this one like really cool thing where it was like, well, not cool thing, but like terrifying thing where it's just almost like writing is like stage fright.
Sure.
Where sometimes I actually get stage fright for like writing where like I can't bring myself to like actually go to the page and like write because it's just like where to even start.
Yeah.
And like just like get an idea. It's very hard to like bring yourself to start writing. But for me, I feel like once I start writing, I endlessly think about it. Not great because I remember Demon Inside Us. I was like almost like losing sleep. Like I was getting like nightmares of like sweat and like my sleep of like thinking about if this makes sense and like trying to like piece everything together. Now that I look back and I'm like, oh wow, I lost sleep over something that's like not great, but like again, just like good practice in like the long run. But yeah, it's just like keeping trusting yourself. I kind of like lost track there.
No. What
was your question?
No, yeah. I mean, we can go through it slowly here, but yeah, I mean, I would say that too.
Writing?
Yeah, but I would say that too. Like as when I wrote for the Collegian, I wholeheartedly share that. Where it was, I always kind of thought of writing articles in like 2 parts, if that makes sense. Like first part, like the hardest part is getting started, and then once I look at it as like a puzzle. So you start off with it writing, you get your ideas in there, and then you start to get your flow and your rhythm, and then it starts to get easier, and you have a little more fun with it. So I totally get where you're coming from with that. And
like I loved doing softball writing. I mean, I went back to the beat, even though I didn't know anything about softball to begin with.
Yeah.
But like when I was in my candidacy semester, it was just like learning the ropes. I mean, name drop Joe Tillman. He kind of like taught me everything about softball. And I was just like very scared because I just didn't know anything, and he kind of was just like a really great mentor. But yeah, like collegiate writing for me was like the first time I really got writing or like anything published for people to read. I mean, again, it's softball. I don't know how many people are reading my articles, but I had some cool features, and I am grateful for that. And then also going to like the soccer beat, covering that when they were like really good. They had like Pam Linehan, I mean Alyssa Nair. No, not Alyssa Nair. Alyssa Nair was like she's old. There's another there's a goalie there that was like really good. Corey Dyke, I know, was on the team. Oh man, there's like other people that I'm just like forgetting.
Yeah. Well,
But
there's one I was thinking of with the women's team. There's a goalie for the national team, or just retired actually. I forget what her name
I
is.
think that's Alyssa Nair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot. I don't know. Catherine Asman is who I'm
Ah.
thinking. Um, yeah. And then I know there's like another girl who was like a striker. Um, for time's sake, I'm not gonna try and remember her
Yeah. How
name.
good.
But that team was really good. And then again, I went back to softball. And then I became a sports editor, and that semester was very important in like being confident and just talking in front of people.
Mm.
I still hate public speaking. I don't know about
Sure.
you, Steven, but
Yeah, I used to be a guy who absolutely hated it, and I still don't like public speaking,
mhm,
which is why I guess I'm a writer/podcaster the
it's
way
awful.
I am.
It's awful.
Yeah, I
it,
can't.
it was actually really intuitive is not the right word, but like it was very convenient that I was taking a public speaking class at that time.
Mm.
And I remember my teacher, he said like public speaking is like one of the biggest fears someone has. Like they
Oh,
rather
sure.
like die than like public
Yeah,
speak. And this is
yeah.
like, yeah, it's
It's
true
facts.
because it's like you're the only one speaking. And like, I could yap about whatever I hear.
Yeah.
It's just like seeing everyone like looking at you.
Yeah.
The room just like being totally silent and you just like hearing your own
Mhm.
voice.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you're just gonna mess up. And like, I mean, I do mess up.
Yeah.
But I definitely like that semester was a crucial like learning curve of just like speaking in front of people. But no means I was like great like toward the end. But like it was just like awesome just to like be like the editor for sports just in general. I mean, sports has like amazing writers. And there's like so many people that like I could see being something when they get out of college here. And just like being an editor for that is just like awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and also just like there's so many people on the sports beat. I mean, Penn State, I feel like just is run by sports. I mean, Penn State should like
Absolutely.
be known
We're,
as
we're a sports school.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
like there's like no besides basketball. Like
Yeah, we don't gotta talk
sport-
about basketball.
Every sport's like pretty good besides basketball.
Yeah.
Sorry, basketball, no shade.
Nah, it's all good.
I hope you don't have any like basketball listeners on here.
Nah.
But yeah, no, like just being a sports editor was awesome. And then I tried to do it again.
Mm.
But I didn't get accepted.
Mm.
I don't know if you have that. It feels like you have like it feels like you're like Noir or like that one guy. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or like that one guy who has like all the info on like the other person, and this is like, how do you know that?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I feel like you're that right now,
Yeah.
Steven. Where like you have some information that I'm like, how do you know that?
yeah.
Nordwar, that's his name.
Yes, I love.
I feel like you're
Nardwuar.
Nordwar right now, Steven.
Hey, appreciate that. You know what though? That's great. That's my goal.
Yeah, just like getting all the information. from someone.
Exactly.
But as I was saying, I didn't get sports editor the next semester, and it was almost like a blessing in disguise.
Mm.
My mom always says it, and I don't want to cut at my mom because it's like a known saying where it's just like
Yeah.
like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That definitely happened for a reason because it was like that pivoted me to multi, and then I became a videographer for that, and then in that semester I really got familiar with like just the cameras here, and I think I just like doubled the second person behind me of like what they put out for the Collegian. I had so many videos that semester just because I want not to like really prove a point, but like to prove a point to myself that like I want to get all the reps I could, because I think Collegian is just like a great source to really learn from whatever you put out and just like continue to get better. And like I feel like each video that was an opportunity for me just to like learn and just continue to improve. And then obviously that showed because then I became a multi-editor in the next semester and stuck with it since. So
that's awesome. And something I want to touch on too, a little more I guess on the filming side, you interned for Lou Rita Production in Easton.
Yes, I did.
What was that experience like?
Hopefully Lou Rita's not listening. No, and no shade to Lou Rita either, but it was definitely not what I expected.
Yeah.
And it was definitely not what my one friend that I know, Maggie, I don't think she expected that either. I actually like saw her like get it from LinkedIn, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. It's in Easton, so I'm just gonna like apply to it and see. And I got it. and it was just basically like a archival place, or like a archival sort of like media from
Okay.
like the World War II and like Vietnam, where like they
Ah.
would get like their archival footage would be used for like history or something
Like
like that.
Smithsonian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like people would be like asking them for this footage, and then they would like get paid a certain amount to like ship it out.
Gotcha.
And I think they were like working on something of their own when I was there, but oh god, the subway.
Hey.
I know these mics pick up like on everything, but no, it was fun because then like every Monday we would like come in and like pitch like a story idea for like a TV
nice.
show, and that was just like good to get the gears going, but it was kind of like off or not because I realized like it was just like not gonna go anywhere, but it's just cool to kind of like I said, get the gears
Yeah,
going.
exactly. And like you
thinking.
said, it's just, again, gain that experience.
Exactly.
Even if it doesn't seem great at the time, it's still something you can put on your resume. It's still something you can look back on and maybe even be proud of.
Mm-hmm.
But something I want to look towards your future here.
Oh god. No.
What do you kind of want to accomplish? I mean, obviously you do films and you do writing. What do you see yourself doing in like the next maybe 10 years? If you do, of course.
Still deciding. No.
Yeah, no, I get that.
No, I mean I have like a certain idea where like film it's been like a back and forth battle between what I like more with like sports videography and then film, and whenever I do like one thing I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely want to do this one in the future, and then I go back to film and like, oh wow, I love film.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I want to do this.
Yeah.
It's just tough because it's like daydream. I mean like stuff like the daydream film what was just like where I know I love film and like what I'm doing. Just like working with people, having a good time, and just like getting a film out where like people could like look at and just like have their own interpretation of like what it means is something I just love to do, and it's super creative. Like, not like bashing sports. I feel like I'm bashing everything here, but like not bashing like sports videography, but like it's not like as creative as film, obviously.
Sure, there's not as much creative freedom there. For sure.
Yeah, and like obviously with film, like you gotta like write your own thing.
Yeah.
But like, you don't have to like write it. But like if I would probably try and write.
Yeah.
But it's either that or like just going into like videography and like doing something with like sports docs or being on the side and like getting footage. So
nice. I mean, yeah. So I mean, it sounds like you would be great for like NFL films.
Yeah. I did try and apply for NFL films, and I did get rejected. So unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, I could always try again.
Sure.
But like, that's definitely something I was looking at. I was like, oh yeah, that looks really cool.
Yeah.
I was just like something like, I don't know, film related, like local, like New York or something.
Yeah.
LA's never like. I don't think I want to go to LA. I'm not an LA guy.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously you're from Bethlehem.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm from not Bethlehem. I went to school in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
But I'm from I'm from the Pacon.
Okay.
We were there until we moved to Alexandria, New Jersey.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but
All
my
right.
older sister went to Bethlehem Catholic High School.
Nice.
And then that kind of like forced me to go to Bethlehem Catholic High School as well.
Sure.
Not to like bash Bethlehem Catholic High School, but like Bethlehem had nothing like video related.
Sure.
And I kind of get jealous of people who are like, yeah, I have this film that I did in high school, and like so and so. Like, you had classes for this?
Yeah,
and
I
like,
didn't have anything like that.
I had nothing related to that, and I'm just like, damn, I kind of missed out on that. Like, I wish I went to a school that actually had a class.
Sure.
For film, or like even like for creative writing, and not just like your basic English class where like I don't know, you like try and like scramble the vocab words in a story or something.
Yeah. I mean, I know if your high school did. My high school, the only thing they had, I guess maybe film wise, if you will, we always had a morning show.
Nah, we didn't even have that. I mean, unless I didn't like do any research for it, I don't even think there was anything about that, or like even like just a video person to like record the games, because I mean I played soccer in high school, repping the Becker Heist soccer, number 4.
There you go.
There was not even like a videographer I could even recall like that was at the games for like football or like soccer, like anything, which kind of sucks because it's like I feel like that would be pretty cool to like, again, get the hands-on experience. With like the Collegian, it's very useful for like anyone if they want to like get the hands-on experience before like going to the real world, because I mean, it's pretty like close to like what you would do,
Absolutely.
and like it's Penn State as well. So like if
Yeah.
you're doing sports or like multi, you're getting like the best of the best like right here. I mean like, I went to like the Big Ten championship,
Yep.
and like ESPN was there, and
Yep.
just like the big dogs, if you will.
Yeah. The network can go crazy.
I was thinking of networking. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna like focusing on
Yeah.
like the event.
I get
and,
that. Yeah.
But like I
respect
could
that.
have. I think I missed out on an opportunity to like network myself. But oh well.
Hey, that's what LinkedIn's for. But no,
Yeah.
that's actually a great segue, and something I think I'm gonna do every show
Mhm.
is just ask my guests basically, what would you tell an incoming freshman? Like,
Mm.
what advice would you give them?
I'd say like not to be afraid to like try something new. I'm just like I feel like like right now I'm just like not turned down by like a no or anything, but
Mm.
like it's an opportunity to like go to the next door that's open. Um, I mean, people focus on like that door being closed, and I try and look for what's the next available thing that I
Right.
can go for and like apply myself to. And I mean, as I was mentioning, like the sports thing being closed, the multi thing opened up for me, and just like a lot of things in general, or like an actor says no, like blah 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 says no, I go to the next person and like try and like get them
Yeah.
to say yes.
Yeah.
So really don't be afraid to be rejected, because you will be,
Yeah.
and always just try something new, because I mean, sure, you might think like you have it made and like what you're doing right now, but you try something for like one day and you're like, oh wow, I really love this. Maybe I'll give it a go. Because like I said, if I didn't get rejected for like sports editing, I would have had a different story. I mean, I don't know if I would have tried to go to multi, which is kind of like weird in a way, because I don't think I would have been covering football, and I don't think I would have went to the games that I did this like last semester. So it's just like really looking for the next opportunity, because that next opportunity could be even better than what you planned for.
Sure.
So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's a perfect way, I think, to end the show here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you again, Dan, for taking the time.
Of course. Thank you, Steven.
Of course. And, yeah, tune in every Monday. We'll have new guests every week. And, yeah, thank you so much, guys, for listening.